period administration. If you are traveling with liquids,
Archie, come here. Let's pick out some other stuff. Archie, don't play with it. Archie, come here. Come take a look. Do you want to make here sausage? Sausage. Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Too small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to my folder. I think this one should be good. Do you have a...
We will inform you as soon as possible. We apologize for the inconvenience. Thank you. We are now ready for takeoff. Please fasten your seatbelt tight and low. Thank you.
ああ、Thank you。ありがとうございます。
第1ターミナル27番ゲートに到着する予定です。この先、国内線に乗り継ぐお客様にご案内いたします。